There's this silent green engine that literally powers our entire planet. And it's a process so fundamental that without it, well, life as we know it just wouldn't exist. We are, of course, talking about photosynthesis.
No, seriously, go ahead. That breath you just took, yeah, that one, you can thank a plant for it. It's a direct gift from the green world. And we're about to dive into exactly how plants pull off this incredible feat that makes our very existence possible.
So, what exactly are we thanking them for? Well, first off, the oxygen we need to survive. Pretty big deal, right? But it doesn't stop there, not even close. Think about the food you eat, the fruits, the vegetables, the grains. Yep, all products of photosynthesis. It is the absolute foundation of pretty much every food chain on the planet.
So this powerhouse process, this thing that gives us our air and our food, we call it photosynthesis. Let's unpack how it all works.
Okay, so here's the core idea, the big picture. Photosynthesis is basically nature's incredibly elegant way of taking light energy from the sun and turning it into chemical energy. What kind of chemical energy? Well, it's a sugar called glucose. It's like turning pure starlight into life-sustaining fuel. How cool is that?
But that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? How does a simple little leaf pull off something so powerful? It honestly seems like magic. To figure this out, we need to zoom in. I mean, way, way in. From the leaf you can hold in your hand down to the microscopic machinery buzzing away inside it.
All right, let's start our journey. I want you to forget everything you think you know about a simple leaf. Instead, I want you to picture a super advanced, high-tech, solar-powered factory.
Yeah, every single leaf is like a bustling factory floor. It's constantly taking in raw materials, from the air and the soil, and using sunlight as its power source, it manufactures the energy that fuels, well, pretty much our entire world.
Okay, so if we go even deeper, inside the plant cells, we find the engine room of this factory. It's a tiny little structure called a chloroplast. This is where all the magic, all the action happens. And the star player inside that chloroplast is a very famous green molecule.
And that molecule is, you guessed it, chlorophyll. Now, chlorophyll is a master at soaking up energy from blue and red light. But here's the funny thing. It's not very good at absorbing green light. So what does it do? It just reflects it. It bounces right off, and that's the color our eyes see. That's why plants are green. Kind of cool, right?
Okay, so the easiest way to think about photosynthesis is like a recipe for life, really. The plant needs 3 key ingredients: carbon dioxide from the air, water from the soil, and of course, energy from sunlight. It takes all that, cooks it up, and gets 2 main products: glucose, that's the sugar, it's food, and oxygen. And that oxygen, it's basically a waste product for the plant, a waste product that we just happen to need to, live.
And here it is, the full recipe written out in chemical terms. Now don't get intimidated by the letters and numbers. All it's saying is we start with 6 molecules of carbon dioxide and 6 molecules of water. You add a little light energy, and poof, the atoms just get rearranged. They form one big molecule of glucose, that's the sugar, and 6 molecules of oxygen. The key thing here is nothing is created or destroyed. It's just perfectly reconfigured.
Now, this whole process, it doesn't just happen all at once. It's much better to think of it like a 2-act play. In Act 1, the plant has to capture the sun's energy. In Act 2, it uses that captured energy to actually build the sugar. Simple as that.
All right, let's dive into Act 1, capturing the light. This is the first crucial step. The plant has to catch that raw energy from the sun before it can even think about doing anything else.
So, in what we call the light-dependent reactions, chlorophyll soaks up sunlight, and that energy gets used to do something amazing. It splits water molecules apart. This is a huge deal. This is the moment that releases the oxygen we breathe. At the same time, it stores all that captured energy in 2 special little molecules, ATP and NADPH. The best way to think of them is like tiny rechargeable batteries. And right now, they are fully charged and ready to go for Act 2.
Okay, batteries are charged, the plant is ready to go. Welcome to Act 2, making the sugar. This is the synthesis part of photosynthesis, right? This stage, which we also call the Calvin cycle, is where the actual food, the good stuff, gets made. So in the Calvin cycle, the plant takes those fully charged batteries, the ATP and NADPH from Act 1, and it uses their energy to grab carbon dioxide right out of the air. It then builds that CO2 into a stable, energy-rich sugar molecule, glucose. Now, this part doesn't need sunlight directly, but here's the catch. It absolutely cannot run without the energy that was captured by sunlight back in Act 1.
And this chart here just lays it all out for us, a perfect side-by-side comparison. You've got the light reaction, which happens in one part of the chloroplast, absolutely needs light, and its job is to make those energy carriers and oxygen. Then you have the Calvin cycle, or dark reaction, happening in another part. It doesn't need direct light, and it uses that captured energy to make the glucose. See? Two very distinct stages, but they are completely interconnected. One can't happen without the other.
Okay, so if there's one thing we know about nature, it's that it's all about efficiency. It's always looking for a better way. So while this two-act process we've been talking about is the standard, over millions of years, some plants have evolved some really clever upgrades to help them thrive in tougher environments.
So most plants out there, think rice or soybeans, they use a standard process we call C3 photosynthesis. And look, it works just fine. But in really hot, dry weather, it can get kind of wasteful. It actually starts losing precious carbon. So some plants, like corn and sugarcane, evolved a much more efficient system called C4 photosynthesis. They developed this special leaf anatomy that acts like a supercharger, a pump that concentrates carbon dioxide right where it needs to be. This little upgrade makes them way better suited for those tough, hot climates.
Okay, so we've been deep in the weeds, pun intended, looking at the mechanics. Now it's time to zoom all the way back out and really appreciate the mind-blowing scale of this whole process.
So when we talk about a global scale, just how much energy are we really talking about? Well, get ready for this. At any given moment, all the plants on Earth are capturing an incredible 130 terawatts of power from the sun.
And if 130 terawatts doesn't mean much to you, let me put it this way. That is about 6 times the power used by all of human civilization. All our cars, all our factories, all our power plants, everything combined. Photosynthesis dwarfs it. It really is the silent green engine that truly runs our planet.
And it all just comes together in this absolutely beautiful, self-sustaining cycle, right? Plants use the carbon dioxide that we animals breathe out, and in return, they give us the oxygen we need to breathe in. It's a perfect partnership, a planetary-scale gas exchange that keeps the entire ecosystem in perfect balance. And the whole thing is powered by our star, the sun. So let's end on this thought. Photosynthesis is brilliant, it's ancient, and it's incredibly effective. But as our climate changes and our population continues to grow, scientists are asking a really big question. Can we learn from this natural marvel? Can we actually engineer a better version? A version that could help us feed and power the future? It's a fascinating question to think about.